All right, so welcome. This is the second edition of Cooking Fun with me, Joanna Hodorowska, with Nutrition in Motion. And today we are making Moroccan spinach with chicken. And I will tell you right now that because it's COVID and I have not had an issue until this week with shopping. And I literally went to the grocery store. There was not spinach, so I ended up buying the super greens, which are the baby kale, chard, and spinach, which I told you in the directions, you know, that's a great alternative. So that's what I got. And then I'm looking for chicken. And I'm like, all right, there's drumsticks and chicken wings. And there's a whole chicken. I'm not playing with the food, and that's just not going to work. So if they didn't have chicken breasts, I was like, that's no big deal. I can get chicken thighs. You know, I can just get the thighs, no big deal. They didn't have that. They only had the chicken packaged in the separate packages, like already marinated. I'm like, but I don't want it marinated. I'm going to be making it. So there's no chicken that I could use. So I'm like, okay, what else could I do? Turkey. Okay, I'll do turkey breast. No turkey. So what else can I do? So I ended up getting pork tenderloins. So my chicken's gonna look a little bit different than yours because it's not really chicken. But it still applies, like we can still do exactly the same thing with everything that we're doing because it's all gonna end up being the same thing anyway. It's just that I'm using pork instead of chicken, and it's still a white meat. You could probably use red meat, but the red meat's going to be too strong, and it might be a conflicting flavor. So we're going to stick with what I have. Hopefully, you were all able to get what you needed. And the one thing I forgot, because I pulled out the recipe, and all these recipes are in my Detox for Athletes booklet. And I pulled out the recipe, and the one item that I forgot to tell you about is pine nuts. So you can either, if you have pine nuts, great. If you don't have pine nuts, it's not going to be a big deal. You could also use walnut pieces. So there's always options. But I did have pine nuts, so I'm going to use some pine nuts. So whatever we do today, I'm going to have, if you have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Or raise your hand and I'll unmute you, and then just ask your question. So anytime you have a question, just ask, okay? This is not going to be that difficult. We'll be eating by 6:15 because it's only 5:34.
My husband has a question.
He has a question. Okay, awesome.
Is this a good time to open a bottle of wine?
Sure. You know what? There is wine that's supposed to go into the meal, but I pulled out the bottle that I already have open, which is a red Malbec, and I'm gonna have that. Although I could just drink some of the Sauvignon Blanc, which is the dry white that I am gonna use for the cooking. If you didn't want to use wine for the cooking, you could use vegetable broth.
Well, I did have white wine, but I used it the other night for a different dinner, and then I drank it. So, go on.
Well, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world. You could do it. You could still make it without it. You could, like I said, you could use like a vegetable broth or something like that.
I might have that.
And I mean, you could use red wine as well if Steve is opening the red wine. But it'll just turn everything red or brown.
Chicken stock.
There you go. It all works. Yeah. So you're not going to use that much of it. Hi, Shannon. So I'm just going to read the ingredients. So hopefully you have all of this or something relatively close. So it's 2 pounds of spinach, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a 1/4 cup of pine nuts or walnut pieces if you have those, a 1/2 cup of raisins, it says a 1/4 cup of ground cardamom. I think it's really supposed to be a tablespoon or a teaspoon. A zest of 1 lemon cut into strips, plus 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Then there's salt and pepper, butter, 10 ounces of chicken breast cut into half pieces, half a cup of dry white wine. And then if you want to make it over linguine or spaghetti, you can make it with linguine or spaghetti, or you could make the red lentil linguine. Or you don't have to put any pasta or carbohydrate with it at all. So there's always options. That's the beauty of all this. So it says the original recipe has like a zillion steps to it. So I'm going to be doing this a little bit backwards, because this way we can make everything in one skillet at one time. So what you're going to do is actually you're going to take your butter, and it says here you're supposed to use I don't know about 3 tablespoons of butter, but use some butter, or you can use some ghee. And what I'm gonna do is first I'm going to use my big butcher knife, because it's nice and sharp. I'm gonna heat the pan on a low flame. And if you have an electric stove, it's gonna take a little bit longer. I'm not gonna cut the mouse, I'm just gonna move the mouse over. But what I'm going to do first is, the recipe doesn't call for an onion, but I'm going to use an onion, because I think half an onion is going to make everything just a little bit better. So we're gonna cut the onion in half. And we're going to use that butcher knife. I think you can see me. You're gonna cut that end off, and you're gonna peel the skin off that top layer and the second layer down. And if there's any of the extra skin, you don't want that there. You want to peel that off, because it makes it hard to otherwise to cut. But what you're gonna do is you're just gonna cut this half an onion, and you're gonna use the end of the knife to make slits in that onion. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And if you have knife skills and you feel comfortable, you can actually kind of cut it up the middle so that you can make smaller dices. Can you see what I'm doing? So then you're gonna take that knife, you're gonna hold on to the onion. Sometimes you can just dig your nails into it. And you're going to dice that onion. And again, we're heating up the pan. And I'm having a hard time here because the whole thing is slipping. So I'm gonna get to that end and then discard that part.
Joanna, how much butter do you have in your frying pan?
Pardon me?
How much butter are you using in the frying pan?
I'm basically using a tablespoon of butter, and then putting a little bit and putting in another tablespoon of olive oil.
Okay.
So I'm putting basically one of each. So I'm putting that into the.
Take the rest of the stick out.
I'm gonna put that into the pan. And I'm gonna show you my pan. There's my pan. So I'm gonna swirl that butter and oil around, because I can hear it sizzling already. And we're gonna throw the onions into it. The next thing is we're going to take that chicken, or pork in my case, and we're going to cut it into half-inch pieces. And you can either make them into strips, or you can actually make it cubed. But I'm gonna take that same knife, and like I said, I couldn't find chicken, so I had to use pork. So I'm gonna cut it into these 1-inch strips. And then I'm gonna cut them into smaller pieces. So they're gonna be like 1 by 2-inch cubes. So as you can see, I'm gonna take 2 slices and then cut it into these smaller cubes. They're gonna be like these 1-inch pieces. They almost look like they're good for stir fry too. Then after we put this in, we're gonna have to like wash our hands. So once you're done with cutting that, you're gonna throw that right into that pan with the sizzling onions. Okay?
Here. Okay, bring pan over.
Make sure you stir those onions, otherwise they're gonna get completely brown and roasted.
Put it back.
I'm gonna move my screen so you can see what I'm doing. And because I'm lazy, I'm just gonna use the knife right now to spread the meat across the bottom of the pan. What you're trying to do here is actually sear and brown the meat. So the whole idea is we're not going to stir it, we're just gonna let it sit there for a minute or two before we turn it over. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna go to the sink and wash the hands, wash the cutting board, and wash the knife.
I put the pad down so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, here.
And I'm gonna need those for the next part. So if you can see the meat now, it's putting white on the edges. That's what you want. Can you see that?
Yep.
So you want that to happen, and you want it to be like halfway up before you flip it over. So I'm going to leave it here for another minute before I do anything with it. But I'm finding some of my onions are browning a little bit too much, so I'm moving them over away from the heat. As you can see, my flame is fairly low. It's kind of a medium. And I'm going to turn it up just a tad because I want to brown it a little bit more. You need to have a bowl ready because when we're done with this chicken, we're going to actually put it into the bowl while we make the spinach. If you're going to be making pasta, now would be the time to boil the water and get the pasta ready. So if you're going to do regular pasta, linguini or spaghetti, start boiling that water to make the pasta. If you are making the red lentil linguini, that will cook a little bit less, and that will cook a little faster, but you still need to boil the water.
Once it starts boiling, we'll put it in. Just keep spinning.
So mine's sizzling away. I'm gonna go ahead and flip my meat.
What's that meat? It's not ready yet. It's okay. No fuss.
And you should see that it's browned on one side. That's what you want. Can you see how my meat is browned?
Yep.
So you're gonna keep it on a high heat or medium high. Especially when you flip it, because the juices of the meat will actually kind of get into the pan. And then it kind of stops the browning process. And we don't want that browning process to go away.
can let it settle and cook further.
I don't know if yours is sizzling like mine is. This is kind of like playing with food, making sure that each piece is like touching the pan and it's hot enough so it's brown. Is yours browning like this?
It's getting there.
It's getting there, okay, good. And now we're just gonna leave it there for another couple minutes because we wanna make sure it's cooked. But in the meantime, what you can do is you can take your lemon, and I'm gonna, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a potato peeler, and I'm going to take two slices off of the lemon to be able to make zest. And I'm just gonna turn I think you can see. So what I'm gonna do with this is, no, you can't see because my camera decided to go dark on me. Come on, camera, come back. So I'm gonna cut the lemon zest in half. And then I'm going to cut it into these, I would say they're probably like 2 millimeter size pieces. And you're just gonna put that aside, but you might as well be doing something while you're waiting for the meat, right? So you're just gonna push that off to the side. Then you're gonna take that other half of the lemon or the full lemon and you're gonna juice it, either in a juicer or you're gonna get a, just get some already ready-made lemon juice so that you will have at least a teaspoon of lemon juice. And you're gonna also put that to the side.
Whenever just pull.
I've got my lemon juice, which is probably more than a tablespoon, and I've got my lemon zest. And I think the fork is just about ready. I'm gonna flip it around a little bit more. But you should see on the bottom of the pan, there's a lot of brown parts on the bottom. That's a good thing. That's what we want. Then I'm gonna go ahead and turn the chicken one more time. And in the next minute, we're gonna go ahead and put this chicken into just a bowl. You're gonna have a bowl to put that chicken into. And this is where you wanna have that 1/4 cup of wine ready, because that's gonna be the next step. All right, so I'm gonna take my chicken, which is really pork, and put it into that bowl. I'm gonna take as many of those onions out of there as well and kind of scrape the bottom. Now I'm gonna turn that heat back down because I only need a little bit of heat now because my pan is adequately warmed up. And I still have more onion pieces. So I'm gonna get all of those out of there. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that 1/4 cup of the white wine, or your chicken broth, and put that into the pan. And it will kind of steam and do all that other stuff, but this is where you're actually going to scrape off all of these trimmings and everything that got kind of stuck to the bottom. Okay? You're gonna scrape those bits of the off the bottom of the pan, including all the onions. And you're gonna keep it kind of simmering until it reduces basically to a tablespoon, which is hard to tell in a pan if it's a tablespoon, right? So now what we're gonna do, while it's doing that, I'm actually gonna measure out my 1/4 cup of raisins. And I'm gonna put those raisins into the simmering wine. And if you've got older raisins like mine, which are a little bit more dried out, the raisins are going to soak up some of that extra liquid. Can you see how mine is sizzling?
Yep.
So I still want to have it keep kind of reducing, but while we're doing this, you can either, what I do is I actually cut the spinach into the pan. So you can either chop it up into on your cutting board, or just cut it into slightly smaller pieces with scissors. And again, it's supposed to be 2 cups. But we also know that spinach and all these greens will shrivel up into nothing. So if you like your greens, then you can use more than 2 cups. Like, if it's up to me, I'm gonna probably try to stick all of the greens here into the pan, but that might just be a little bit too much.
This is our sign. We don't see it. No, I think that's my idea. I don't know. This is all going in.
I'm just gonna continue cutting. And I'm not a very good measurer, so this whole thing is probably more than 2 cups, and I'm just eyeballing it because I want a lot of greens in my pan. So I'm gonna make sure that the whole thing is covered because it's all gonna wilt down to a lot less. And then this is also where you're going to now throw that lemon zest into it. So whatever that teaspoon of lemon zest that you chopped up, you're gonna put that into this combination. And I think that's probably enough greens. And I don't know if you all know this trick, but if you have a container of green lettuce or spinach or kale, to keep it from wilting and getting all moldy, take a paper towel and put it inside to absorb the extra moisture.
Hey, Joanna, we're just a little bit behind here. Did the garlic go in yet?
Oh, I forgot the garlic. But yeah, put the garlic in too.
How much garlic?
I forgot about the garlic.
What is it, like a teaspoon?
Just 1 clove.
Okay.
Or you could not even put it in because we put the onion.
Right here.
The egg.
Okay.
Oh, the onion. I'm gonna throw a little.
And now you're gonna take a teaspoon of the coriander powder and liberally put that on top of the
Move it around.
spinach.
Okay. Teaspoon. Thanks. Where's the thing? You put lemon in it.
Then you're gonna take that. You're gonna take a quarter cup of your pine nuts or your walnut pieces and put that in the pan as well. So it all should be wilting quite nicely. You should probably put your pasta into the boiling water if you're making the pasta. And we're almost done.
Yeah.
So your spinach should be pretty wilty right now, correct?
Yep.
So now, once it's wilty, now you're gonna take a tablespoon of that lemon juice and drizzle, or 2 tablespoons, and drizzle it onto the spinach. If you want salt and pepper, you need to add that now, which is what I'm gonna do. And I have a pepper mill, so I did 3 stirs. I'm gonna turn mine off because it's pretty much done. And then I'm gonna put the chicken back in.
All right, we're still a little behind. How much of the cardamom went in, Joanne?
I put it in a teaspoon.
I'm sorry?
A
Teaspoon.
teaspoon.
Got it.
Pork start.
How's everyone doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep.
How's everyone doing? You all caught up now?
Did the nuts go in?
Yeah, put the nuts in before the lemon juice.
Okay. Oh, good. And did the lemon juice go in the same time as the lemon rind?
No. It didn't have to. It doesn't matter really. If you did put it in then, that's fine. Just put in a handful of the nuts into it and it'll be perfect. And it should look like this when you're done.
Yeah.
Salt, pepper.
Because once that spinach wilts, and once the greens wilt, you don't have to keep cooking it.
Back in though. And then you put the chicken back in?
You put the chicken back in, yeah. And kind of make sure that it's all heated up again, which will take like a minute. And I'm going to take a serving spoon and put it into,
Put some pieces of chicken back in.
and put it into my bowl. So that was what? It's really 25 minutes. It's pretty amazing, huh? But inevitably, there's never enough spinach in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's true.
The spinach wilts down to almost nothing.
Spinach goes down to absolutely nothing. So, but you know, if you want a nice flavorful spinach, that's all you got to do is just add some of the lemon and the coriander. You don't always have to put the wine into it. The wine is really for to get the flavor off the bottom of the pan from pan searing the chicken. But I put mine into a bowl. I'm ready to eat. I don't know about you. Maybe I need to fill my wine glass first.
I think when you serve it.
So this goes when we serve it, the zest.
Pardon me?
When does the zest go in?
Another fork, please.
Go put it in now.
Another fork.
Delicious.
Yeah, so the zest, you can either put the zest in at the beginning when you're starting to,
Okay.
like after the spinach starts to wilt, or you can put it in at the end.
Well,
I
it looks
put it in a little
delicious.
bit
It looks
sooner.
just like yours, but it's whiter.
Right, exactly. It's just-
Yeah, because ours is a little whiter because it's
kind of
chicken.
the same, but kind of different.
Pick you up. There you go.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, so now we get to, I put it in a bowl. And I should probably
Yeah,
take a picture. I should probably take a picture of,
Oh, yeah.
I got it. It's fine.
but I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite of mine because I haven't made this in a long time, and it's one of my favorite ways of making spinach and chicken. And as you can tell, it's now 6:02, and we started at 5:34 or 5:36. So 30 minutes, and we have dinner.
Like my pretty little wine glass.
Perfect.
It's one of my hand painted wine glasses.
It's perfect. So yes, here's a toast to everybody who's here.
Here.
Cheers, cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're gonna try ours over lentils and rice.
What? I want it to cook more.
And I'm gonna try mine. And you know what? It's pretty darn delicious, in my opinion.
That's the chicken.
Yeah.
Am I the only one eating?
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
we're a little flat on the chicken.
Ours is just cooking a little tiny bit more.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing with chicken and pork. You have to make sure that the chicken and pork is cooked.
Yeah.
The spinach, on the other hand, it wilts in no time at all.
Delicious.
It's so good.
That is
It is
good.
good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I forgot about the pine nuts, but it's like they just, the walnuts and the pine nuts just add a little extra hint of crunchiness into it. So, bon appetit. I'm gonna have some more because it's really good. And it's dinner time.
It's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll be doing this every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, yep.
I have that online meditation class I'm taking. But maybe
You know
I'll
what?
send Dan. I'll miss it, but
So you have your online meditation. Oh, that starts in 2 weeks. You're gonna miss a month.
yeah.
Right. Well,
Oh, maybe I'll
the thing
send.
is, he can come.
He can come.
It's going to be on my YouTube channel, which is Joanna Hodorowska Nutrition and Motion on YouTube.
I didn't know
So
that.
I'm gonna upload it there. So in case you want to make whatever we make next week, you can just come back and look at it on YouTube.
I like that.
So what are we making? What are we making next time?
Well, we're gonna make some potatoes and sweet potatoes or yellow potatoes with zucchini, almost like matchsticks. So they're gonna be pan fried or baked. I can't decide which. And then probably some other chicken. And I don't know exactly how I'm gonna make the chicken yet. I'm still. Oh, I found a recipe that I wanted to make in this cookbook called Clean Eating. I found one that is called lemon artichoke chicken.
Ooh.
That's
So I'm
different.
gonna make lemon artichoke chicken with roasted zucchini and sweet potato fries.
There you go. I'll send Dan.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, well, you'll send Dan and make sure that he makes plenty so that there's leftovers.
He's a very good cook.
Yeah, so he can then come and if you're doing the meditation class at home, then he can just bring it to you and you can eat it.
I'll be all calm by then.
You'll be all calm right then, and you'll be able to digest all that food very comfortably, and it'll actually be easy to digest as well. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna make next time.
Here's our dog.
He's waiting for leftovers.
He's waiting for some.
Of course.
So you mentioned lentil pasta, and I'm not familiar with that. Red lentil pasta.
Red lentil pasta. So
Trader Joe's.
Wegmans makes
yummy.
red lentil spaghetti.
Yep.
You see that?
And I think I've seen that in the food stores also.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a Wegmans near me. There are other brands that make it, but they have a red lentil spaghetti. And the reason why I suggested red lentil is because I think the plate needs some color, so the red would be nice, you know? There is also Basta Pasta makes a chickpea pasta. So they make a chickpea linguine. So you could do that as well.
I never knew that.
Yeah, they actually have a lot of bean pastas. Because I don't do wheat very well.
Right.
So I've pretty much avoided any kind of pasta. But I've discovered some of these and I'm like, oh, well, this makes it so much easier.
Did you get them both at Wegmans?
I did get these at Wegmans, but Bonza is a common brand. So you should be able to find it pretty much anywhere.
Oh, there they go.
Well, your dog must have heard ours.
Yeah,
And
I
then
know.
the other one that I like is this one called Explore Foods, and they make a edamame spaghetti.
Wow. Oh, look at that.
Your Shane.
Yeah. So that way, if you wanted more green, then you could have the edamame spaghetti. So there's a lot of bean pastas that you can get now that weren't available. Like when I first met you, 14 years ago?
So
When I
Joanna,
first taught you how to swim 14 years ago, they
Joanna
did
taught me
not
how
have
to swim
bean
when I was
pasta.
42.
What?
When I was 42 years old, Joanna taught me how to swim.
Yeah.
Wow. Shane, stop.
And I'm 50, I'll be 59 in June.
So that was a long time ago.
And so, yeah, I was
Yeah.
doing really well until COVID-19 showed up now.
You know, I was doing really well with teaching swim lessons, like because I took a 3-year hiatus, so I had a couple swim lessons here and there. But it's like the
Wow.
reputation started to pick up momentum, and then next thing you know, didn't have
Well, I might
that
jump back
option.
in
So
and get
it'll all come
insight
back.
from you. I might need some insight at some point on how to
Yeah.
build endurance with it, because I took several years off from working out, and it had nothing to do
Welcome
with COVID-19.
So,
So, Gina, did you try yours yet?
I was actually going to try a little piece.
Okay, because we need to know how everybody liked it.
Actually, that is really good.
very
I'm going to serve it over. I have red lentils and I had some extra walnuts left. I'm
Okay.
gonna serve it. I mixed in the walnuts, a little bit of cardamom to pick up that flavor.
Right.
I'm heating that up and I'm going to serve this over the red lentils with the walnuts.
Awesome.
Also, too, there's a company, it's called, I think it's Pappardelle Pasta.
Okay.
Usually you see them at like a lot of like the vendor shows, and they have all kinds of weird and wacky flavors. They're a little expensive, but if you're not doing it every single day, and I know she's got some gluten-free options. You could probably just look it up online. I think it's Pappardelle.
Okay.
Paradelle pasta. Yeah, I've gotten it up at the Pepper Festival, and she's been at A-Day. Like the vendor shows I've done, I've gotten it, and she's got like squid pasta, all kinds of weird, wacky flavors.
Pasta, that was awesome.
She's done all kinds of like red pepper pasta. She's got a lot of weird, wacky flavors, but a lot of fun flavors.
Yeah. Yeah. But I figured that the red lentil one, it's not overpowering flavor-wise, but the color would just kind of enhance the look on the plate.
Yeah,
So awesome. Well, thank you for joining me. And if you have any ideas of what you'd like to, something that you might want to cook, just shoot me an email at joanna@nim.net or go to my website, www.nutritioninmotion.net, and put in a request there. But please join us every 2 weeks. So the next one's going to be May, I think it's 12th or something like that.
and I was thinking something with like root vegetables, but weird, like turnips and rutabagas and stuff like that.
The
I have no
weird
idea
stuff.
what to
So
do with
I am gonna do one with celery root one of these days because I have celery root, and then I'll do turnips and rutabaga because we all need to know how to make some of these
or
things.
parsnips. Like I have no idea what to do with parsnips.
I only know one thing: roast them. But
Yeah.
I'll find a recipe for us.
Okay.
That's my challenge.
All right, cool.
So That'll be fun.
All right,
Okay,
Joanna.
perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm going to find you on Venmo. Thank you very much.
And
Thank you, ladies.
have a good night.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
Enjoy the rest of what you made. Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.